Good morning, Keller Williams. It's 1000. What does the O stand for? Oh my gosh, it's early.
I'm meditating.
You're meditating?
Stressed.
After all that excitement?
Just had half an hour of stress.
Oh, yeah, we had some technical difficulties, so sorry that we are starting a couple of minutes late. I am going to stay after this time and get all this stuff figured out and figure out what's going on.
Do you remember that song by Spandau Ballet? I think it was "Communication Let Me Down."
You know, I love them, but nope, I don't know that song.
Yeah,
what's the one that they're known for?
I don't know. Listen, it's 40, 50 years ago. Oh yeah,
I know this much is true.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. You know, they sold more records in 1984, whenever it was, than Duran Duran.
Really?
Which Duran Duran was always considered the #1 kind of big deal in town.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, for me and you, it's like Depeche Mode, The Cure, The Smiths, right? The other ones are just kind of like, you know, yeah, they were good, but honestly, for Spandau Ballet, I know they had a few, but that's the only one I remember.
I was not into them. I didn't buy a single record by them because they were well, we had the name for them.
Okay, which we probably can't talk about here. Yeah, I figured.
There were posers.
Oh,
posers we used to call
them. Yeah. So
alive.
Did you know that you were going to get serenaded this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. So we are in episode 9 of season 2, and we've got some awesome stuff lined up for you today. We are going to be jumping into Docusign. It's come up in my market center that there's agents having issues just trying to figure out how to download or print blank documents. So that's a big thing we're going to touch on.
So I run support services as an MCTT for like 900 agents, and 9 out of 10 calls are Docusign.
Yeah.
9 out of 10. And it's always crisis. It's always, I need this document and I've got to get this signed and I have to do it by 2 o'clock. Right. And I'm like, did you like prepare in advance like the day before? But what happens is they go in, the settings are not set up, their accounts are not linked. They're not familiar with how to actually pull documents down or what stage in the process the documents appear.
Yeah.
They get confused by the previews that are blank. They'll go, the DocuSign's blank, it's blank, it's not. That's a preview that comes up when you're reviewing the document. Right. So we'll cover all these things, hopefully, and iron out some of the crinkles in DocuSign.
Yeah, absolutely, because I understand it can be frustrating. Once you know the steps, it's actually very simple. So anybody can do what we're going to show you today. It's just knowing the proper steps to get there. And talking about DocuSign and the frustrations with DocuSign, we had an awesome day on Friday at our MCTT summit.
It certainly did. It was
right. Good. It was awesome. So Ryan Yarbrough, our regional tech trainer here for South Florida, for the last couple years, maybe 2.5 at this point, I don't know, 2, something like that. We have been doing an MCTT summit, and now we're doing it twice a year. And this last time, this was our summer MCTT summit, and he collaborated with Georgia Alpizar from North Florida and her RTT, who is Lucas Lesh. And we got to hang out with the North Florida region and learn together. So that's awesome. Georgia, thank you for investing in your RTT and MCTTs and letting us collaborate, because it was fantastic. And big thanks to Nikki Ubaldini and Mark Olish, because where we got to do it is right next to the regional office. And of course, they allowed Ryan and all of us to take time to do that as well. And all of our leadership, thank you for investing in your MCTTs. All of the MCTTs that got to go, they learned a lot from it. So thank you very much.
Good.
We appreciate
and the pizza was good.
Yeah, the pizza was really good.
And they didn't
even though it was cold by the time we got to it, because we were heavily engaged in activities.
We were half an hour late for lunch, that's for sure.
Yep, it was good. All right. Anything else?
No.
No? Okay.
No, all good.
We got all the small talk aside. Let's jump in here. And what are we talking about today? All right. So we're talking about DocuSign tips and tricks. We are going to show you some tricks. For me, the templates. Making templates for things that you put in every contract. So I have like a standard language that I put in my listing agreements, and I get super tired of having to type that every time. So you can create a template that you just call that template up, make the necessary, fill in the fields that you need for that specific deal, but the language that's always the same. A lot of times brokers have disclaimers they want in there. you can actually fill those in and they're just ready to go. You don't have to type it every time. So that's the last thing we're going to talk about. We're going to show you how to, well, I'll get into it. We got a slide coming up here because we've got something more important every time, and that is our culture moment. See that beautiful lady there? Right? That is the lovely Mo Anderson. She is the heart and soul of Keller Williams culture. Red Day exists for her as a tribute to her. It always falls around her birthday. I believe this year it was actually on her birthday.
Yeah, it was.
And that picture right there was taken when she came to our region for our regional award ceremony. And I got to be in her presence for like the third time in my 13 years here at Keller Williams. So just an absolutely fantastic lady, and the reason for our culture. And today we are talking about our values: God, family, then business. I got to tell you, and this is where Brett might get some waterworks. I've never shown any tears on this episode or on this podcast. I've come close, but I was when we were there for the MCTT summit. There were a couple of agents walking in. You and I were walking in the halls, and I heard this little voice talking behind me, and because you and I were getting ready to leave, I think.
Do you need to see a psychiatrist about that?
Oh, I know what. No. I have plenty of voices in my head.
Okay.
This was a real person.
Okay.
There's not enough room for any more voices in my head. But it's when I was trying to find an office for you when you had to get on your call.
Oh yeah.
And I heard this little voice. And then I turned around and there's this little girl kind of following me and, just being funny. And she was there with her daddy in the market center. And I got to talk to him, rode the elevator down with him as I was going out to the car and let him know that, that's one of the things I love about Keller Williams is that it's so family oriented. We have lots of kids in the market center at any given time. My son is totally grown up in our market center. And he said the same about his daughter. And then another agent came in with her kids. And it's just, I love the family environment that we have in our Keller Williams market centers. It's amazing. And then business, right?
Yes.
So spirituality, God, family, and then business. Because if the other two aren't in line, your business isn't going to be where it should be anyway, right?
Well, there's so many, I don't want to talk about other brands, but where this value statement isn't mentioned at other organizations, the ego's first.
Yeah,
it's ego and business that's first, and it's apparent. It's really obvious. Like you got a situation arises, such as the hurricane that we had.
Right.
The way that Keller Williams responded to that clearly demonstrates that it's got family business. I mean, it couldn't be clearer to anybody that value statement is alive and well in the organization. So it's all good.
In our times of natural disaster, it's mind blowing how that's when you really see our culture at work for sure. It's fantastic. So our objective today is to learn how to use Docusign to download and print blank documents. We're going to do some other things too, but that's the main reason for what we're doing today. And then the benefits are to easily grab blank contract documents at will. So I can just grab them and go, so that you are always prepared to capture business with buyer's agreements and listing agreements in hand. That's a big one that's been coming up with agents. All right, so what we're going to cover today, creating a document download room in Docusign. It's super easy. You just have to know the right steps to do it. Adding folders for organizing contract forms. So once we throw them all in, once we create that room, we want to have some organization there, right? Adding documents to the room and downloading and printing blank documents. We're going to create contract form templates. That is a fun one. It saves a lot of time once you initially set them up. And then using the same email for multiple signers. So
would you just do that when you're in person?
What's that?
Using the same email for multiple signers? No?
No, you can do it as if I'm sending it off. It's just you have to know to put them in sequential signing order.
Right.
So we're going to show that. Yeah,
because I've had that call come in that the next person hasn't received the document. It's because the first person hasn't signed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you can
and then the other thing that happens is if you use the same email address for multiple people and they're all set as say one, in the signing order, it'll go to the one and then get confused, and it just messes everything up. So there's a certain way to do it, and we're going to show you how. And what's really, really, really cool about that, you know, we, believe it or not, we still have a lot of agents on .loop. You know, .loop that's owned by Zillow.
That has all our information?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh. It's like using TikTok or anything.
Exactly. And one thing that .loop can't do, at least last time I checked, is it can't handle the same email address.
Right.
So
this is where you might have a husband and wife using the same email address to get two separate documents.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool.
In our area where the average age is 112, that happens very often.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, usually in AOL.
It's right. Yeah, the first AOL email address ever given up.
at AOL.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So we always want to mention the 201 Plus Club. There's not a lot about what we're talking about today that goes along with the 201 Plus Club, other than I would say that having those buyer agreements and listing agreements in hand makes you ready to sign up that next contact, right? But what the 201 Club is that at 201 or more healthy contacts. And if you don't know what a healthy contact is, you can join our private Facebook group at MCTTs Unleashed. We have all the files there. We have memory joggers for building your database. We have what constitutes a healthy contact. So we got 4 things that give you 80%, and that's full name, email, phone, and physical mailing address. You get those 4 things, and you're a long way to having a healthy contact. And then we've got the other 5 things at 4% on that document that you can see on our Facebook group. All right. So yeah, at 201 or more healthy contacts, the average GCI is 119.5, and then it just soars from there. The more you build your database. And what do we got to do with our database, right? We need a database. We got to feed it every day. We got to follow up with it in a systematic way. All these things are taught to us in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And is it still relevant?
Just to make, yes, of course.
What does the shirt say?
What does the shirt say?
The shirt says, yes. The MRA is still F.
Oh.
Exclamation, asterisk, blah, blah.
Does it
relevant.
say that?
Yes.
It's a little
you haven't
aggressive.
seen that shirt?
So what I was going to say is, if you're in one of the market centers, excuse me, that I look after, reach out to me at freetechconsultation.com, FREE techconsultation.com, and I will assist you in merging your CSV files with your data and contacts, or we can take data from your phone using the app, which is free and easy. And we even have Scott Leroy marketing support to send the more difficult templates that may come from another CRM. But one way or another, we will get your contacts into Command so that you can get them on those smart plans and segment them, tag them, and get them functioning. Awesome. So just reach out, because we're trying to get the number of agents that have got more than 201 contacts up to about 60% of our agent count.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to do it because you set that goal.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
I did. Absolutely. And it seemed like it was pretty aggressive, but hey, you got to aim for the fences, right?
Yeah. Well, there was 100% increase is what we were looking at.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, you gotta have stretch goals,
high goals,
right? So that is very helpful of you for your market center, Peter. And for those that maybe haven't tuned in before, we need to let them know who we are, don't we?
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Brett Bishop, if we're meeting for the first time. And I am a 13-year veteran of the Keller Williams family. I absolutely love this company. I would call myself a KW lifer. I've been in the business I've been an active real estate agent for 20 years. Got in the business with my parents. I'm a 3rd-generation realtor. And I'm a former market center tech trainer, a current KWU approved market center trainer, and a current labs advisor, which I absolutely love this tech community. And Peter,
who's he? So 10 years with an American license. Been with Keller Williams for 3, couple of different larger brokerages prior to that. And then originally got licensed in 94 in the UK with Prudential. We did all the different things that they did, a different market, different system. But then I opened my own brokerage in '98 and ran that in the UK for 10 years. So I've got, quite a long time working with real estate technology.
Yep.
Because I built everything, because the internet was kind of born in '94, really, in practical terms.
Right.
So I built everything off that. And then we started to operate internationally from the UK for foreign investors and buyers.
Cool.
And it was really good. So, and of course, then the big crash came. So that changed everything.
And that brought you across the pond for good?
It did. Yes. Yes, there was a bit more opportunity here, like mortgages and things like that were available.
Yeah.
Which was a,
Awesome. All right. So we are going to get into it and have some fun. Let's get set up here. And Peter, one of the things we talked about that at that MCTT summit was we got to tell our favorite thing to teach and our least favorite thing to teach. And Docusign was kind of up there on the least favorite thing to teach, right?
It was. I mean, I don't know why that happened. Because for me, it's designs. Because designs,
it has issues from time to time, but everything does, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you've watched prior episodes, you know that Peter and I have an awesome way to use designs, and that's that we use Canva and designs together to make an awesome product.
That's the way. But yeah, teaching Docusign, I mean, I suppose it's because it's a very linear functional process. There isn't much flair goes into it. You got to do it this way and it will work for you. So we're going to discover that.
Yep.
Right. We are sharing our screen and just getting that set up.
We are. So let's go in here. We are going to grab a new tab and we're going to jump right into rooms.docusign.com. Okay. So to do what we're doing today, we're not going to go through command. Very rarely will we ever go into Docusign without going through command, but today we're not going through command because I don't want to link command to what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Right? I'm not going to create an opportunity called, download documents. I just want a room that has folders that's in Docusign so I can go straight there.
Okay.
So I do not want that link in what I'm doing today. All right. So let me get my spectacles.
Your spectacles? Why have you gone all British?
Because I'm sitting
Not
with
that
you.
the British talk like that.
I know, right?
Only in movies. For some reason.
It's funny. All right.
You were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Oh, Michael Caine. He's up there now, isn't he, age-wise?
Yeah. I like that dude, though.
Yep.
I think my favorite now is Jason Statham.
Oh.
Have you've seen The Italian Job, haven't you?
I've seen all of them.
I love when what's his face, the redhead guy that's also does the voices in Family Guy, because he's in that too, and he makes fun of Handsome Rob, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Handsome Rob."
Oh no. Okay.
All right. So I'm working my way through here. You know how it is with this two-factor authentication. Let me just get it real quick and we shall be good. And I did this deliberately. I did not want to have the screen ready to go because I wanted to demonstrate exactly what needs to happen when we do this. So we're going to get in here real quick. All right.
All right. We're in the Bishop group.
Okay. So I am into my, and by the way, you saw that authorize. Congratulations, authorize. If you've already authorized once, you don't have to worry about it anymore. That tends to keep popping up for some reason.
What about the risks of doing it this way? Because there are some agents that have got multiple DocuSign accounts. So you need to know you're in the Keller Williams one, right?
Yeah. I have to, So if I go to rooms.docusign.com, you have to put the rooms in there. The rooms is the Keller Williams connection.
Right.
Rooms is what real estate is. They used to have realestate.docusign.com. They got rid of that extension and now it's rooms.docusign.com. Okay, so I'm going to go to rooms.docusign.com. I'm going to sign in with my Keller Williams, whatever my Docusign login is.
Right.
It's not exactly the same
And if
as
you
your Keller
haven't
Williams.
got that, where do you get it from? Is it your MCA?
You get it when you onboard.
Right. So
Yeah.
you'll have an onboarding
Depends.
email.
I mean, some people use Michael Lewis Marketing.
Right.
Some people use Scott Leroy. It just depends.
But you'll have had an onboarding email and your credentials are in there. Because sometimes it's a few months before an agent joins, and then the time when they actually need to use DocuSign.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they go, I don't know my password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I will say though, if that is the case, what bridges that gap between when you join and when you start using it is by attending classes. Training. If you have a Market Center tech trainer, a productivity coach, your broker, whatever the case may be, make sure you're attending those classes, because I know as a Market Center tech trainer myself, we would get in, and if somebody hadn't been set up correctly, we take care of that right there in that class, and we're ready to go, right? Okay, so the other thing, you're going to make sure that you have your Keller Williams logo here, and then you know you're in the right place. Okay, so we are going to go to Rooms, and we're going to go to New, and I'm going to create a new room. So I'm not concerned with any of this information up here. Okay, I'm just going to go to room name, and we're going to call this document downloads and prints. Okay, just so I know that I can go here to download blank documents and print blank documents. My agent role, I'm going to leave that alone and then select side. I'm going to do this as list and by side because we're going to create folders for all those documents. Now, one thing I might do so that it's visually like just, you know, jumps out at me, I might upload a photo here that actually says, you know, document blank documents or something like that. Just a little graphic. All right, all that's good. And then I'm going to hit save. Fantastic. And it brings me right into that room. I can see that here, document downloads and prints. And we're going to go over here to documents. Now, here is the most important thing. Do not put any information in the details. If I put any information in these details, I will never have a blank document again. Okay? So we don't want to fill any of this out. We're leaving this absolutely alone. And we're going to go to documents. And by the same token, when I do bring documents in here, I don't want to play around with them and put information in them because it back populates to the details. So if I wanted a room where I could just play around with documents, then use this same process and create another room that's called practice writing documents or something like that. Because then you can mess with, you know, populating the fields and people and all that. But if you want a super clean room so that you don't have to worry about any information showing up on a document, you want to print blank documents, you got to do it just like this. Don't enter any details. All right, we're going to go over here to add Docusign forms. And then we're going to start with the biggest one. Now, one thing that you're going to see, Peter brought this up as we were jumping on here, and I definitely want to address it because it's important. If I hit the add in Docusign forms like I just did, and I haven't connected things correctly, I'm going to get a pop-up that has like 6 icons that has like, you know, MLS logos and stuff like that. And that's asking me to connect my account. I need to connect the integration. All right. Mine's already been done. I can't really undo it and show you how it works. But if you do get that, you're gonna click on the appropriate icon.
It's the realtor.com icon.
Yeah, the realtor. Yeah, it's the realtor.com. Well, it's the realtor logo. Yeah, not realtor.com.
But where's realtor? Yeah.
It's the blue R logo that we're used to from National Association of Realtors. That's what we're gonna click on. And then it will take us through. It will ask us for our NERDS number, our last name, and
I like it that all realtors are nerds.
That's right. It asks for 3 pieces of advice. I can't remember. It's your name, which association.
Your name it has to be exact.
Yes.
To your license. I mean exact. Like case hyphens, double names, things like that. It's got to be
PA, LLC.
Yeah. If you've any whatever they call those things after your name, you've got to have those in. So it's got to exactly match your license. You've got to select the Florida as the state and put in your Nerds ID.
Yep.
And there is a link to get your Nerds ID if you don't know it.
Yep, absolutely. Can you do me a favor and just check YouTube and make sure that this is being shared?
What, the screen's being shared?
Yep.
Can I check it on Facebook?
I don't care which. I just want to make sure that it's being shared because I can't tell if it is or not.
Okay, I'm gonna go into Safe Harbor Group. I'm gonna click on here.
All right, don't need to play-by-play.
It's telling me off now. Right, yes, it's sharing.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Just want to make sure we don't leave you hanging out there. Because we have done that before a time or two, and we don't want to make that mistake again. Okay, so
there's your live monitor.
Once you make that, thank you. Once you make that connection, then it will tell you that your connection is successful, and it will bring you into a screen that looks like mine. Now, these packets over here are set up by your market center. So if you don't have packets here, it's not that anything's wrong. It's just that your market center hasn't set those packets up. Maybe that's by choice, or maybe they just haven't done it yet. That would be an individual market center issue. And then the libraries down here are everybody's going to have this top one. That's going to be whatever your realtor association is, right? So for us, it's the Florida Association of Realtors. And then this is our South Florida region. So we have documents from the South Florida region, and then this is from our market center. And then these are the documents from our local MLS. So yours will look different in the libraries depending on where you are and which of those, groups have introduced documents into Docusign. And then this is all of the forms that exist in your state library or whatever that is, right? So for us, like I said, it's Florida Association of Realtors. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to type buyer broker. And we're going to get our exclusive buyer brokerage agreements. Okay. So depending on whether you act as a single agent or a transaction broker, then that's what you're going to choose. We typically use this one in our market center. So I'm going to grab that and hit add selected. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to add another document and go to forms. So you saw that I did one, right? And I think that a lot of times that's our deal. Like we get one and we add it. And then we come back through the whole process, get one and add it. You actually don't have to do that. We can actually select multiple forms and then just bring them all over at once. So now I'm going to go in here to exclusive right of sale. All right, so we're going to go get our listing agreement, and that's going to be this one, exclusive right of sale listing agreement, transaction broker. I'm going to grab that. So I have that one selected, and you see right here, it says one selected. Now I'm going to go get a seller property disclosure. I can type. Why is that not working? Let me see. There we go. There is no apostrophe in that for possessive seller's property disclosure, so I always forget that. So we want this. We want seller's property disclosure, residential SPDR3, and the update. Again, these are just to have in hand in case you need them. Now, you'll notice on mine that once I click that, there's this thing over here, and that's because these are templates. If you haven't created templates, then you wouldn't get this window, and we're going to show you those templates later as well. Okay, so I'm going to bring those in, and we'll just grab a contract. So I'm going to go to Docusign Forms, and then I'm going to go over here to Florida Association of Realtors, and I'm going to grab our residential contract. All right. And I'm going to grab this one because this is the good one.
No comment.
And then add selected. All right. So I have some forms, disclosures that I commonly might want blank to carry with me. The seller's property disclosure, I want that blank because I will typically leave it behind for the seller to fill out for me as homework, because I don't want them being rushed, right? Like if we're sitting at the table, we've signed a listing agreement and they're rushing through that thing, I want that to be accurate. So I normally leave it behind with them and then pick it up, you know, when the photographer comes out to do the photos or something like that. The only thing that's on there for us to fill out is just the top information, seller, seller name, property address. That's it. As agents, we are not allowed to touch that document whatsoever.
You can't fill it in for them.
No, you can't. Okay, so we got all our documents in here. Now let's organize the room. All right, so we're going to go to actions. Action. We're going to go to actions, and we're going to go to add folder, and we're going to have listing documents. All right, I'm going to create that. And are you working for me? Let's go. There you go. All right. And then we're going to have action, add folder, and buyer documents or sale documents. This could be seller documents, buyer documents, however you want to label it, as long as it makes sense to you, just so that it's organized. All right. And then we're going to create. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this. This is exclusive buyer brokerage agreement. I'm going to take that and drag it up to buyer documents. All right. And then exclusive right of sale is here. And residential contract, no. The listing documents, that's going to be this as well. The seller's property disclosure and the seller's property disclosure update. So that's there. Then there's this little trick because you have all this stuff in your way, right? I'm going to click this little, what's that called?
A carrot.
A carrot. That's right. Peter got introduced to a new term a few episodes back. So we're going to click that carrot so that we can see more of what we're doing here. And then I'm going to take this contract and I'm going to pull it up here to the buyer documents. All right. Now, I want to print one of these out or download them blank. Okay. It's a little bit funky, wonky. I like that word, wonky. It's a little bit wonky the way that it works because I'm going to bring it up the first time. It won't let me download it. I'm going to save it and close it, bring it up again, and then I can download it.
Okay.
So it's just the way it works in Docusign. It's not a command thing. It's just the way that Docusign works. All right. So I'm going to click this to open it up. And once it opens, I'm going to go up here to this little dog-eared page that says document actions. When I click on that, oh, look at that. I didn't have to do it. So it's letting me download it the first time. Okay. Sometimes when you're in here, you open it, it will not let you, like, download's not even an option. So all you have to do is hit save and close, open it back up, and then you'll have download and print as an option. To
download a document, do you have to create a room first?
Yes.
There's no way of getting to the library and just clicking download.
No. Okay. I'm glad you bring that up because can I go get a document in my documents? Like I'll show you where we could go get documents, right? The problem is they're watermarked. If you don't create a room and bring the document into the room and you just go out to like your generic library, they will have a big watermark on every page. So you can't use them, you know, officially. All right. So this is the only way to do it and get around the watermark. All right. So I'm going to hit download. And then that document has downloaded for me. All right. And then I'm going to click out of there to close it. And let's say that I want to have a listing agreement on hand always as well. I'm going to click on the listing agreement. Let it load. And then we're going to go to document actions and I could print it here as well. So if I hit print, it will bring me in to where I can print it, which I can also download it here too. All right. So that is how we bring documents into Docusign, into a Docusign room. And we want to label it something that means that it's where I'm going to go to download and print blank documents, right? I could simply call the room blank documents, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes sense to you. That's how we're going to do it so that we can get blank documents.
What will happen if the document gets updated? Like when they put on the foreign national buyers thing on July 1st, the existing agreements went away, new agreements came in. Will this room update with the new documents, or do you have to go in and get them again?
Unless anything has changed, it won't.
Okay.
You have to bring the new version of it in, because what I brought in was that particular version.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
if anybody knows better, I kind of have it in my head that it changed and they are auto updating, but I don't know that for sure. I know in the beginning it would not auto update. You had to go grab the new form. But if anybody knows for sure, just leave it in the comments on Facebook or YouTube and let us know. That'd be great. Appreciate it. All right. So we are done with that. Anything else we want to talk about on that? Any observations?
No. I mean, the only thing we'll be showing the setup of Docusign accounts.
Yeah. I'll come back to that if we have time. I think I'm going to have to kind of jump over that way anyway. So let's just go look at it. All right. So what you were talking about as far as going to get a document, right? Right here in my documents. I can go to my documents. I can go to my forms, and let's just say I want that exclusive. Let's say I want that buyer brokerage agreement, right? And I want the TB, and I bring this up. What are my options here? Create template. All right, I'm going to go to view. See that watermark?
Yeah.
Nothing I can do with it.
So that's just like sample form.
Yep, it's just a sample form. So that's just so that I can read it right here on the screen. Absolutely unusable for what we need. So that's why we did what we did.
Got you.
All right. Go up here to, we're going to go to our settings. All right. And this is something that Peter wants to address with our audience out there. There's a lot of agents that work in multiple states, and they have to bounce back and forth. So that's what we're going to speak to here. So I'm going to go to preferences. And then integrations is what we're looking at, right? This is where we're going to make sure things are set up correctly. Now, profile is a big one. Make sure that this information is how you want it to read. The logo doesn't show up on any of the documents, which I love. As an agent, as a practicing agent, when I see a brokerage's logo on a contract form, it's a red flag for me that I need to read every word of that document to make sure that they haven't changed something yet. So I know, we have new agents that come into the office, and I don't know if they've seen one of those contracts that has a logo on it or whatever. They think it looks more official. So they've asked me where they get our contracts that have the logo, and I just tell them we don't have it. Okay. We don't like to go that route because it's the actual form. Nothing's been changed. All right. So we got that. We're going to check our contact information, make sure that's all accurate. And we're going to go to integrations. All right. So this is where everybody's going to have National Association of Realtors. Can't think of an instance where we wouldn't. And this share, just in case you're wondering, this is because I have set up sharing with my wife, because we are a husband and wife team. And those are her initials. So that's what that's signifying there. Our company forms. If I go to add provider, this is that window I was talking about, that if you're getting in for the first time, if you open a room and you go to add documents from Docusign, this is what's going to pop up. And what we want to choose is the realtor logo. And then it would walk us through the next steps. And unless you're in one of these, I say we would choose realtor. That's what we choose here, right? But if these other ones are pertinent to you and where you do business, then that's what you would choose. Peter, if I am in two different states, when I'm in Florida, how do I get those documents? And when I go back to, say, Brooke Silva is part of the world in New England, if I go back to Massachusetts, what do I have to do?
Well, my understanding is you've got to call the NAR and ask them, because we used to be able to go on the website and change it, but your NERDS number is associated with a state.
Right.
So you need to go to NAR, call them up and say, hey, can you reassociate my NERDS ID with the state that you want to practicing.
Yep. So it's kind of a headache to do that. I think NAR used to allow us to just log into our NAR profile and just switch which state we were in. We could do it ourselves as agents. And about a week after the last time I told somebody that's what they do, NAR just took it away.
Yeah.
So that part is locked. You have to physically call them now and tell them that you're in the opposite state and you need to have that state associated with your profile. And then it just magically shows those documents when you come into Docusign.
Yeah, what I've noticed is there's quite a few agents where they're using .loop in one state and then using Docusign in Florida, so they don't switch it. But if you want to use Docusign in both states, you're going to have to switch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now we are going to go build a template. Let me see where my templates are. Okay, right here. So I want to create if I go over here to forms and templates, I'm going to change this to templates, apply. And you can see these are all the templates that I've created. And what I typically do is I name the form with the basic negotiable parts of the contract, the basic terms of the contract, so that I know what that is. And what that means is these forms already have those check boxes ticked, the days entered in the contract, all that. It just saves me some time filling it out. So I'm going to show you how we do one. We create a new one from scratch. So we're going to go to new template. And let me just back up in case you missed it. We were in rooms. I'm going to my documents. And then we're going to go down here to new template and select form from Docusign library. Yes, I want Florida Association of Realtors. I'm going to find my form. And let's just say I want to create a template for buyer brokerage agreement. Okay, here's our transaction broker agreement here. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say use. All right, so up here is where I can edit the title. So once I get these terms in, we'll edit the title so it makes sense for what we're doing. One of the biggest, pains when you're filling out a contract is just having to put the name of your broker in every time, right? Yeah. So I can at least handle that part. Let's see. Our broker is going to be here. So I can put my name in here. And then the office. We have a very long DBA name. Okay. And then term, if you're in the habit of, well, I guess this isn't days, right? It's specific dates. So forget what I was saying. All right. Type of property, location, price range. Now, location, I could have one of these for Port Charlotte. I could have one for Vero Beach. I could actually enter that information, and then in my list of templates, just pull that up. It's something else I don't have to fill in, right? So I'll just say this is going to be for Punta Gorda. And buyer has been pre-qualified or pre-approved. I want a pre-approved. Why do I want to just go ahead and mark the pre-approved?
I don't know.
Because I'm not showing them a darn thing unless I have a pre-approval letter. I'm not wasting gas on somebody that's going to bail on me and ghost me or doesn't have any business looking at homes, right? So we're going to mark that. This is just the way I would fill it out. All right. So keep in mind, this is going to be however you would like to fill it out. And then the retainer. So this is something that quite possibly could be filled out. Upon final execution of this agreement, buyer will pay to broker a non-refundable retainer fee of $500. This fee is not refundable and will or will not be credited to buyer if compensation is earned by broker as specified in this agreement. So this is kind of nice right here. They pay you $500 up front, and you can credit it back to them once you've earned your commission to where it never really costed them anything in the first place.
Right.
So I can go ahead and fill that out. Compensation. I'm not going to get into all these terms, but I could fill out all of this stuff, as much of this as I would want, so I don't have to fill it out again. If there's a way that I always fill out my buyer brokerage agreement, then fill it out that way, and you've got that template ready to go. Okay, and then special clauses. If I had special language that my broker wants in here, I could put that in there, never have to type it again. All right, so then I'm going to go up here and change the name of this. Let me see what my terms were. I'm going to say that this is for, I'm going to go ahead and back out the transaction broker because it's the only form that we use. So I'm just going to go like this, and that this is for Punta Gorda. Okay. Just to show an example of how you can change the name, we're going to hit that checkbox, and then I'm going to save and close. All right. Now, how do I call that template up? Here is where the magic happens. When I go back to the room, I can, let's just say I'm starting in a new room, right? I will show you this just so that you're aware. If I go to documents here, and then I go to add Docusign forms, and I go to that buyer broker. See how it says in use?
Ah.
Right? That means that I can't even call up the template that I had. All right. And the reason for that is these are working documents. Once you bring a contract form into a room, you can't put another one in there. Because if I fill out that contract, get it signed, I have a Docusign stores the PDF of the signed document. And then if there's changes, like think about in a contract, we write an offer, buyer signs it, we send it over to the listing agent. In Docusign, I have the original working form, which is right here with the blue. Anytime I see the blue, I know that's a working document, right? When the buyer signed it, it created a PDF and an authentication of signature. So there's a certificate in there as well. But it creates a PDF of that signed copy. So I have that original signed copy. Now the seller says, yeah, we'll take your offer, but we want it to be this price. So I got to go back and change the price of the original form. I just go right back to this form, change the price, resubmit it, buyer signs it. It stores another signed copy of the new version of it, right?
Yep.
And then we bring it all together. You can never have more than one form, one working form of the same type in a room. It's just the way Docusign works. It's meant to work that way. So let me show you what the template would look like. I'm just going to go into any other random room here, maybe. We'll go over here to my Flicka-Flacka lane, and I'm going to go to add Docusign forms, and I'm going to go to Florida Association of Realtors. I'm going to go to buyer broker. There's that document. Now watch the magic. When I click it, now I get this window, and it's asking me which one do I want to use. If I leave it at none, it brings in the standard form. If I click this and now choose the Punta Gorda and go to add selected, and then we'll see when it comes in, it's typically going to be the one that hasn't generated a preview yet. So I'm going to open that. And we can see it's the one that I filled out.
Perfect.
Right?
That saves so much time, right?
Saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
There's another type of template. I'm just going to talk about it. We definitely don't have time to get into this today, but there's actually another type of template that we build that is in the e-signature side. And what it is we're building a signing template. So let's say that you're the listing agent and a buyer submits an offer to you. You can actually, and you know, the seller's like, the seller is like, yeah, absolutely, we'll take the offer. Nothing to change, right? I just need to sign it. Well, instead of having to like manually place all of the initial and signature boxes, I can create an e-signature template that just is an overlay of that document, and it automatically puts all of those in the same place. Your initial boxes, signatures, it puts them all where they need to go. So it makes it really handy. That is something we will get into in another episode. If you're not, if you don't want to wait for that, then please reach out to your Market Center tech trainer or your regional tech trainer if you don't have an MCTT. And if you don't know who either of those people are, then you can reach out to Peter or myself, and we will get you plugged in with those individuals at your Market Center. And the big thing is to be engaged with your Market Center. That's where the culture thrives. That's where you're going to get the attention that you need. So we definitely want to see you get plugged in there. All right. Cool. Now, how do we do the same email address, right? Okay. I'm going to jump in here too. I guess I'm going to use one of those other rooms so I don't mess that one up because that one's nice and clean. Remember, we don't want to add details there. So I'll go back here and I'm going to jump into one of my documents. And I have this document. Do we have any signatures on this thing? Let's see what we have here. Okay, and then I'm going to add a second person here.
What am I buying? I'm selling.
You and Farah are selling something. I don't know yet. All right, so we're going to put this in here. I'm not going to fill any information out in the interest of time, but I do have my two sellers. Now, what you'll notice is once I do that, hit save and close. Whereas Farah was seller 1 and was the only person listed under sellers, it has now created Peter Hopkins as the second seller. So that's what we were talking about. If you're in that room that you created for blank documents, don't put anything in the document or it's going to always be there, and then you don't have blank documents anymore. All right, back to documents. I'm going to check this box right here. Is that the... No,
it's not it.
It moved everything around on me. There we go. Okay, so 2 ways that we can do envelopes. I can click on the envelope here, and then it will take me into that part, or I like to write from here because I need to get a few things signed. I'm going to click on that. And then let's say I want the seller's property disclosure. We'll just do the update right here. Okay. I'm going to check those 2. And then this little pen will create the envelope for me. I'm going to send that over. And I need seller 1 and seller 2 to sign. And I'm going to hit continue. Did it just kick me out? Nope. There it goes. Okay. So I can see I have my 2 documents. Now, here's something that not everybody is aware of.
Blank previews.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So if I click on this, it's blank and it terrifies me, right?
So, oh no, everything's gone.
Yeah, it's not blank. Everything that you saw in the window before we started creating the envelope, it's all there. I wish this wasn't the case because it throws everybody.
Call me and say, "Oh no, everything's gone blank."
And not just agents. I mean, until we realized what was going on, it got us as the tech trainers too. Yeah. So I'm not real excited about that, but just understand that's just the way that it is. Everything that you put in the contract is there. All right. But one thing that you can do, I like my documents to be in a certain order. So when you're creating the envelope, it won't necessarily put the documents the way you want them. All you have to do is drag and drop them in the order that you want. Okay, so if I want the natural way to do this would be to fill out the listing agreement first, and then the seller's property disclosure, right? So I'm going to put them in that order, and that's the order that they will see them on their end when they start to sign. Okay, so here we go, and I'm actually going to put a different email in here so that does not bother our dear lady. Let's see, that's probably not going to work either because I have that in here. So we'll put in a different email address. There we go. And then we're going to have Peter share that same address. that address in. And now one thing I noticed that Docusign did change is when you created an envelope in the past until relatively recently, it automatically had the signing order. Everybody was at
111. Yeah.
There was an update not too long ago where they started just putting them in sequential order. So now you have to go back and change it if you want everybody to get it at the same time. This is how we want it if you're sharing an email address. Because here's what happens. Farah gets the first envelope, goes out to her. It is dependent on her signing it before the system recognizes that it's signed, takes the envelope, and sends the second envelope to Peter. And that's exactly how we want it to go. Now, if Peter's calling and saying, Brett, I haven't seen it. I haven't gotten the envelope yet, besides checking spam and all that stuff, it is probably most likely 99% of the time because Farah hasn't signed it yet.
Yeah.
So it doesn't know to acknowledge it, kick it back.
What I find a lot of customers do as well is they in their minds, they've got to wait for both of them to come before they sign the first one.
Yes.
So then they don't sign it because they haven't got the second one. And that means they won't get the second one.
Exactly.
So the agent then calls up and says, oh, it's not sending out from Docusign. It's because you have to sign it.
Yeah. So that's an education.
So you got to tell your customer.
Yeah, that's an education piece, right? And as somebody who loves video and embraces video in my business and coaches agents on video, make a quick video. You know, put it on YouTube, because then you always have a link there. And any video you should make should be on YouTube for Google search engine optimization and, you know, all that kind of stuff, which we can talk about another time. But have a library of these quick instructional videos for your customers. So when I put the message together in the envelope, I can actually copy and paste that link in that message, and then they'll have a little video that explains exactly what they need to do. All right. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, I don't necessarily need a custom email for each recipient. Now, one thing that I like to do for CYA purposes, my British partner understands CYA, right? So for that, I don't like this to say, please Docusign. I don't like it. So I typically will put in here, please review and sign. That's fine. It's just a capital L. You get the point. Please review and sign listing agreement. Okay. All right. And then in my message, it will say, hi, Farah and Pita. Please review the attached listing agreement. If all looks well, then please sign in initial and sign where indicated. We don't have to tell them the date because it automatically dates it.
Yeah. Please
initial and sign where indicated. Right? So we do that. And then what I could do is, for help understanding how the signing process works, please view this video. Okay, and then I could have a link right there to that video. I love it when I have these genius ideas right in the middle of everything, right?
Yes.
No, but that's a good idea for you to do so that you can help them through that process. All right, and then we're going to go to next. And now we're going to see, whoa, look, there's all the things that I thought went away, right? So I can see that the information that wasn't showing in the preview is actually there. We can schedule send now. I don't know when I can't think of anything off the top of my head when you might do that, other than somebody's on vacation, doesn't want to be bothered until they get back. You could do, you could do a scheduled send. Just going to acknowledge that. Got it. Now, these little tabs here, remember when you used to go to the law office and they'd put those where you need to sign those little stickies on it? That's what that is supposed to represent. So if I see those on every page, then I know I'm covered, and there's a place for every person to sign on each page. And click over here. I see where Farah has to sign. Over here, I can see where Peter has to sign. All right. And we are good. So then I'm just going to scroll through here. Shows me where they have to sign. Everything is good. And now I will touch on this. Okay. The way that Docusign works is the date stamp is really long. So I take this date field and I move it as close to that colon as possible. And then over here like that, so that it minimizes how much it will run off. Typically on these documents, if I move that all over, it will get everything. And then just signature boxes, you know, if you want to move those, whatever. It's just drag and drop. That's all you got to do. Now, I will tell you that in the state of Florida, it is very important. It is a $250 fine per offense if this part is not filled out. So I typically will say copy return to seller on, and I'm going to put today's date in here because this is the date that they are receiving it. And then by email. Email means electronic mail, right? So I say that not to be funny, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm sending it to them through my email system of Gmail or whatever it is, but electronically, they're receiving this in their Docusign account. Right. So I've taken care of what I need to, because you don't want that fine for something silly like that. Okay, and then I just hit send, and it's good to go. That's all we got to do. So that's how we do it. All right. Let's jump back over here and get rid of that. And we're going to go back here and talk about what we talked about. So you got to see how to create a document download room in Docusign. We showed you how to add folders so that you can organize those documents in that room. We downloaded and printed blank documents. We created a contract form template so that you have that normal information that you have to type every time. It's already there for you. And we showed you how to use the same email for multiple signers when you create an envelope for electric signing. That was an action-packed episode, huh, buddy?
Certainly was. You covered it all. That's very good.
Yeah.
You almost made Docusign exciting.
It is.
Almost,
well,
it's
so you know the funny thing is that when that came up, that it's one of our, you know, it was one of the top things that was the least favorite thing to train on. The trainers that said it was their least favorite thing, if they were practicing agents, they also said that they love Docusign and they love using it. They just don't necessarily like to train on it. Yeah. All right. But this video showed you a lot of stuff that typically is a hang up for you as an agent. And as you can see, it's simple. Anybody can do it. You just needed to be shown the right path. So you can come back to this video, take it in small steps, pause the video where you need to, go back, all that stuff. If you need some one-on-one live person there to show you, please reach out to your Market Center tech trainer. If you don't know who your Market Center tech trainer is, you can reach out to Peter or myself, either through YouTube comments or the Facebook group, and we will point you in the right direction to find them, because we want you engaged with your office. If you don't have a Market Center tech trainer, then you most certainly have a regional tech trainer, and we can point you in that direction as well. If you're not engaged with the office at all, please reach out to Peter and I. We will help you with what you need and work to getting you engaged in your office, because that is the most important thing for you to do. Be engaged with the office, experience our Keller Williams culture, get the hands-on one-on-one training that you need, and you will find success in your career. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you being here, and we are out. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.